Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to the hype video for Active Rush Academy for Season 4 playoffs. I want to welcome my guests. We have Sintart and we have Oso. I'm not really sure how to pronounce his name, but go ahead and say hello, fellas.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, yeah, you said it right, so you're all good.
All right, awesome. Um, so anyway, let's just hop right into the questions. Tell me a little bit about how this team was formed, even though I already kind of know because, I've been involved. But tell me how the team was formed, or just how you guys got to your current starting roster. I know it's changed a ton, especially being on the inside. So just kind of give me a breakdown of that and how we got to where we are now.
Well, we took over a team that got caught cheating, so we were just thrown into the mix of things. And like you said, we went through several players, picking people left and right, just trying to make it work. And I think we've came together pretty well, and I
Yeah,
feel like we're going to be really strong going into playoffs. Oso's joined, I think, third weekend,
yeah,
and
yeah, third.
he's AD carry, I'm the support, and we've got a really good synergy going on. So looking forward to playoffs.
So what was your perspective, Oso? Because I know you're a little different. Because I kind of recruited Sintart into the org to
Yeah.
start it and kind of be the captain. What was your perspective? Like, how did you find out about the league? What was your process of trying out, getting on the team, and how you've seen the team form over the course of the season?
All right. So started out. I made a post on the Looking for Team forums, like the official League of Legends forum, and I ended up messaging a guy, adding him on in game, and I played with him a little bit. Didn't like him at all, and so I thought, all right, I'm done. I'll just play solo queue all the time. I don't need a team. And a couple days later, I got a message from someone saying, "Hey, I saw you on the boards. You're still looking for a team." So I said, "Sure, I'll try out." I played maybe 2 or 3 days worth of games, maybe like 10 games or something, with Sintart as my support, and he thought I was good enough to fill the role. And I think he ran it by you, and then I got the spot. Since then, the roster's been changing a lot. A lot of people have been coming and going, but I think it's had a lot to do with sort of personal problems. Like some people haven't been very dedicated. Not so much, they're not good enough, but they're just like showing up late, whatever, not showing up at all. Uh, I think we're slowly fixing that. I think we're in a very good spot right now, probably the best spot we've been in, and I'm excited moving forward. I think this is the best roster we've had, so it's
Yeah,
looking good.
Yeah, I agree.
um, it's definitely been a struggle
Yeah,
throughout the season. I think the bot lane's been the only super consistent thing we've had all season.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and I do think it was mostly just people just not being team material, like just not being team players, not necessarily being like not good enough, just
yeah,
not trying hard enough was the biggest issue.
yeah, exactly.
Because you guys definitely had a lot of turnover throughout the season. But moving into the next question, are you guys like happy with how the regular season went and like how it turned out for you guys?
Yeah, I think it went pretty well. There's a couple communication issues that I wish we can fix, and we're still working on it. However, we've gone through a couple of shot callers here and there, and it's back to me being the main shot caller, and I'm feeling like point on and everything, and my macros spot on. Everybody's listening now. Oso's expanded his pool a lot too. So, like I said, we're looking good going into the playoffs.
So feeling confident, feeling confident. How about you,
Sure.
Oso?
Uh, yeah, like I would just say, I think we've improved a lot over the last couple of weeks. So I think we're looking good. That's about all I'll say. I think
Did
Sintar
you?
covered it all. So
Is there anything you guys would have changed that happened this season? Just anything if you had to pick something to change about the season that you wish you would have known maybe before it would have happened throughout the season. Is there something you would go back and redo?
uh,
I wish our roster was a little bit more stable.
yeah, yeah,
Most other teams I've been on, like we would practice 2 or 3 days a week. Currently, well, in the past we were only practicing like Tuesdays. We've gone through like 3 coaches, and they just don't really work out either. Not that they're not
Yeah.
good; they just don't fit our what we need.
yeah,
So other than that, maybe a stronger coach that's more dedicated to us, and a stronger player base that just wants to be here and play.
yeah. I definitely agree. The roster is the biggest thing. I think if it was consistent the whole time, we would probably, I don't know. I think we could be like top 2 or 3 to be honest, but maybe that's a bit of a reach. But I think we'd be a bit stronger than we are now because we would have played so much together. So that would be the main thing.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can speak a little bit on the before we move on the coaching thing. Definitely, we just had some people that would like. I mean, it was like one guy in particular, like I believe, committed, and then like 2 days later was gone, and just had some very unfortunate coaching mishaps, and just people just ended up getting busier than I guess they expected to be. I mean, that's kind of on them to be a little bit more accountable for what they say they'll do.
Yeah.
The last one in particular, I mean, he was working out for a few weeks even, and then just happened to get put back in the starting role on a team, and then couldn't apparently handle making practice 2 weeks. So that was unlucky, but I agree. That's for as far as the owner perspective thing would have done. Would definitely have been able to find you guys a more consistent coach because the first couple definitely were just kind of pointless. And I finally found you guys somebody that at least lasted for a little while, but it just wasn't, I guess, enough. And that's just an oversight on my part, which that would be my redo from my perspective. Let's go and move on to the next question. Who's making the calls? We already kind of, I think, talked about that in game, but who's like the lead? Who do you guys think on your team is like leading you guys to success or making the calls in game? I know we talked about Centaur being the shot caller already, so this might be a quick question. Yeah, go ahead and take it away.
Well, like you said, I feel like I'm making a lot of shot calls. However, Oso stepping up, making a lot of target calls, being consistent in laning phase, like his CS through the roof, like perfect CS every game. His positioning is really great, and our new top laner and our mid laner, who was our former jungle, Bombay and X, they've really stepped up too. Their solo lane's really strong. Their communication's great. Their just knowledge of the game is just through the roof. And I feel like it's actually a really good team like we have together here. So it's not just on one person. So I mean, I don't know if Oso agrees or not, but everybody's chiming in. They're all making calls as well, and then we're just kind of like selling on one, and we're going with that. So
Yeah, I would agree. I think obviously individual players are making really good calls. They're all playing lane phase really really well. I think, but I think sort of the guy that brings it all together has got to be Centaur. He's making really good macro calls, making good dragon calls, baron calls, all that sort of thing. So he's sort of bringing together, I think, the individual talent and making it into a team. So it's got to be him.
Good. I made a good appointment for captain then. I'm glad to hear it. So that was a quick question because I think we kind of already heard a little bit about that. So let's go ahead and just move on to the next one. So internally, I want you guys to pick an MVP for your team for at least the regular season. Because a lot of times, from a spectator's perspective, you don't see a lot of the things that go down inside the team, and like there could be somebody that's carrying in game, but someone that necessarily isn't getting as much recognition for what they're actually committing or what they're actually doing for the team. They're actually making the team succeed. So, who's your guys'? Each of you pick one MVP for your team for your regular season.
well, for in game, I had to say Oso. I know he didn't like playing Sivir, but that got us through a lot of our several early wins, and that kind of like kept us going. But outside of the game, funny enough, I had to give this a Jester. He's kind of like our cheerleader.
Yeah.
He's always there when everybody's like having issues and we're all mad at each other or we're imploding. He's like, guys, come on, cheerleader, yay! And so I have to give it to Jester. So outside the game.
Yeah, I think Jester's been pretty important, but it's got to be Centaur, both in and out of the game. The roster's changed so very dramatically, so having him be there the entire time, always trying to plug the gaps when someone leaves, get a new player in on short notice. He's been doing all the work behind the scenes and on the Rift. So
yeah, funny enough, Jester actually got MVP because we had 3 people, I believe, in the Conqueror video, which was the previous org that I was a part of. I've kind of branched off since last season of after we won the season. But funny enough, Jester got, I believe, MVP votes from like 2 out of the 3 people that were there. So it's funny that he's still getting it even though he's not playing. All right, so now let's start talking about your guys' opponent for this first round of the playoffs. I believe you guys play Enigmatic Academy, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Yep.
So what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about them going to this playoff match?
Well, they're kind of weird. So they started off really strong, and then they went through this weird like phase where I don't know if they were experimenting things and they knew they were going to be a strong team and they were just trying stuff out and they didn't really care if that about wins or if they just like stopped practicing. I have no idea. But at the end of the split, they started winning again, and they're looking pretty strong. However, we've picked up our solo laners. Like you said in the previous question, our bot lane has been pretty stable, and we've been the rock of our team. So now that we have our solo laners that are performing and stepping up, we are looking forward to like go head to head with them and match them in lane. Therefore, I think we'll be able to take the games against them. So it's more on us than them looking bad. I think we're just better. So
Okay. Oh, so
Yeah.
what do you think?
I think individually, laning phase, I think we're very, very good now after some recent changes. I think that's going to be very important in the series. I think we can get an early lead a lot of the time because we're not just relying on stalling the game out and hoping we can scale up. Because I think everyone can do very well on their team. So I think we can definitely match them in skill, and I think we have the shot calling to pull out a pretty easy win with Sintart at the helm. So
yeah, like
I think
our
we're good.
previous games against them, they picked up a new mid laner, me,
Yeah.
and I mean that person, they've been performing. I don't know if it's a guy or girl, but they're performing really well, and I feel like now we have the synergy between our mid and our jungler that can like keep them at bay. And
Mhm.
also, we're not going to go. We're going to scout them more than we did last time because our coach kind of just came in and was like, "Let's not worry about them. Let's worry about us. Y'all play what y'all want. We're going to let them play what they want, and hopefully y'all can win that way." But now we know not to let them play what they want. Ban their mains and go from there.
Okay, good. There's definitely something to be said about playing kind of your style is definitely an approach. Sometimes you definitely, especially when somebody is like one tricking or like they're clearly better at some things than others, it definitely is something you just gotta get rid of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely
Normally I would agree with playing your style, but since we've gone through so many roster changes, we don't have a style.
true.
We're just trying to go day by day. And now that we're actually getting a style, like people are gonna have to adjust us. And I think if we come together, we can go be first, like no problem.
Mhm.
Do you guys expect this best of three format, obviously for the playoffs, to benefit you guys, or maybe be a little bit of a hindrance? Do you think that style might get figured out, or you think that being able to kind of have that more consistent set will improve you guys and performance coming into this playoffs?
I actually think it's gonna help. Personally, because my first game is always worse. Like coming in cold, I can scrim right before, I can play right before, but coming in, like knowing the matchup, knowing how strong they're going to play my opponents, like my first game is always the worst game. But my second and third game, I usually get better as the series goes. So I get to know their tendencies. I can work on my macro, like, oh, they tend to do this, they tend to do that, and we could rotate faster here and there. So I feel like we're going to be stronger that way. Also, I know our top laner X, he has some things up his sleeve, so I'm not going to give any more than that. But
Fair enough.
yeah, so that's my take on it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the best of three is going to help us because since we haven't practiced very much, we're not maybe that assertive in our own style. So I think if we can play a little bit more reactive and get used to how they're playing, I think that'll benefit us after the 3 games. And also, when we pull out Sona Pike bot lane in the third game, I think it's going to be a big win. So they're not going to be expecting it.
So saying what you're gonna play is very ambitious, but I like it. I mean, that's definitely a spicy bot lane. I'll be interested to check it out myself. I'll probably be around. I mean, considering that I am part of the org. So,
Yep.
how's the team's mentality? I mean, you kind of answered. You guys definitely seem pretty confident. You guys going into this thinking you guys are gonna win it 3-0, 2, I mean not 3-0, 2-0, 2-1. Like, what is the kind of mentality of the team going into this match?
Well, I want to win 3-0. However, I feel like going like I said before, we're gonna get stronger as we go. I think the first game is gonna be close. They're probably gonna take it. I think the second game is gonna be close. We'll probably take it, and then the third game is gonna be all out. We win.
Okay.
Nope, not even close.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I was hoping to 5-0 them, but I guess we can't do that. So we'll have to stick with clean 2-0.
Win 2-0. Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
can't necessarily win 3 games because the series should be over if you do that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I definitely I think it's gonna be a really close series. I think they've gotten much better, and I think you guys have gotten much better too. So I think this is gonna be one of the more hype matchups of the weekend. I think there's gonna be a few, but I think this one in particular is gonna be pretty juicy to watch. So final question for you guys: where do you guys see the team finishing playoffs at? Do you guys have the ambition? I mean, I think I might know the answer to this question, but I'm just kind of asking it anyway because you never know. Some people like to throw out weird answers.
Well, I think we're gonna end first. Obviously, everybody's gonna say first.
They should.
However, I feel the way we're gonna do it is we're gonna beat Ignite. I feel like Sad Boys will lose to Killer Whales. We're gonna end up probably, if we do for whatever reason not get first, we'll get third place because we'll beat Killer Whales in third place. But however, I feel like we could beat AOL when we come together, and then it's gonna be a toss up between Killer Whales and Exile, which will probably be Exile. But now that we have a top laner that can match the Riven one trick, I think we could be first.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think, all the teams in the playoffs are pretty even. So it's not as simple as saying, AOL is going to take it all, whatever. I think in the last couple of weeks, all the teams have, gotten a little bit better as playoffs are coming up. So I think you can't just go off the standings. Things have changed a lot since, the beginning of the season. So I think we have a very good shot at number one. If we just play our game and, everyone can perform in lane like we have been. So I think we've got a good shot.
Real quick, I want to touch on what Centaur said. So if Killer Whale Brigade actually did win, that would actually, do you guys think that would be really good for your chances? Because that would mean that AOL would actually play Killer Whale Brigades because you guys actually have the better seed. And then you guys would be playing EXE. So would you guys prefer, because that's a pretty big upset, right? Sad Boys losing to Killer Whale Brigades, in my opinion. So if you make that call, which I could totally see happening. I mean, I agree all the teams are pretty close. I definitely think all the Iron, Bronze, Silver, Gold matches are going to be super close games for the most part. I don't really see many 2-0s happening unless it's like two close games that the one team happens to pull out. If that happens, are you guys more looking forward to that matchup against EXE or AOL? Who are you hoping to pull from that? I think there's probably an obvious answer, but I mean the teams are pretty close. I think even then they definitely have their strengths.
Honestly, I'd rather go against AOL.
Okay.
I feel like we match them more equal than Exile. However, now that we have the new top laner and we can match Exile better, I feel like individually they're stronger than AOL. As a team wise, AOL is better than EXE or Exile, but they just had a head to head where Exile beat AOL, and AOL is looking kind of shaky. And our last game against AOL, we went pretty close with them. We actually beat them bottom, I would say. However, their Jinx got like a good Baron fight or Dragon fight, I don't remember, and they got like 4 kills and just went off of that.
Okay.
So I feel like we can match AOL better and beat them easier.
Yeah, I think both teams would be, about the same in difficulty playing against them, but I think it makes a bigger statement beating AOL because, they've had such a good season. So I think I'd rather play against AOL and try to knock them out right away and then be a little bit more confident as we move.
Okay, so that's actually a surprising answer, but I mean, I don't disagree. I think there's definitely it's a lot about matchups, honestly, at that point. Like, who your individual solo laners, like, do you have a strong top to match that other strong top? Can they abuse that strength against you guys or whatever? So I mean, that you guys definitely you convinced me. So hopefully we'll see, because that means that if Sad Boys does win, we'll see which I think is likely. I mean, they definitely could be upset, but I think Sad Boys definitely could win, which would mean you guys would play AOL. So either way, you kind of get a benefit out of this next match, and you guys just control your own destiny, right? So hopefully you guys go out and you got to take care of business with EG first, because I think they're probably definitely the other best team that's in the. It'd be the close between them and Sad Boys, but they're definitely up there. I think they're definitely capable, especially after the halfway point in the season, they started performing much better. So I'm interested to see it. I think it's hyped up. Any final words you guys want to say before we close out this interview?
I feel like you said, all the teams are really close, and it's going to be a really hype playoffs. I can't wait to get promoted, and we can go against y'all next year.
Yep.
In the Gold Plat League.
Okay.
Is that possible? Can we have 2 Active Rush and Active Rush Academy in the same league?
Yeah, we could. I mean, it would just depend on me having the 2 spots or paying for the 2 spots. But yeah, I don't think there's any rule against having multiple spots as long as there's space for them.
Look out.
Look out. I got my own threat coming from my own player. Anything for you, Oso, before we head out of here?
Yeah, I think we've got a really strong bot lane. Like I mentioned, Sona Pike. There's also Ivern, which needs to be banned against us.
Okay.
We've been playing that in scrims. But other than that, I think we're good. I think we've got a few picks up our sleeve that they won't expect, and I think it's going to make it really.
All right, man. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you guys for joining me. This was Rutledge with the Active Rush Academy hype video for playoffs, and look forward to their game against Ignitum Academy in the future. So, see you guys later.